Michelle Greenwell, and I have been studying complementary and alternative medicine with Akamai University for the last 2 years. And what I've done is taken my passion for healing and movement, and I've put it all together so I can understand how it works and why it works, and then how I can move forward with that. Complementary and alternative medicine, what I'm talking about is, if you have some kind of a complaint and you go to the doctor and you say, I have this ache in my knee, shoulder, whatever, what can I do about that? They'll send you in the direction of the test that will help determine if there's something structurally going on in the body that needs to be shifted. And sometimes that gives you resolution because you have a torn ligament or you have swelling and they can reduce the swelling, but sometimes it doesn't take care of the problem. You've looked at what kinds of things the medical model has for you, and if there's things that are working, great, but if they're not working, what else can you do? So you can complement the medicine with other modalities that will help with, maybe you're using physiotherapy, and physiotherapy is strengthening the muscles in the knee if it was a knee problem, and that's helping, but you still haven't quite got rid of the pain, so you might want to complement it with maybe something that comes from a movement modality, so you could be something in yoga, could be something in Tai Chi. You might decide to look and see if there's a nutritional deficiency that's causing some of the muscles to not function right, so then you might go to naturopathy, you might go to chiropractic. So that would be how you could complement what was already going on with the medical model. Then you have the alternative medicine. So you've gone through the medical model, you've used some complementary things, but nothing has worked so far to solve the problem. So then you're going to alternative medicine, which just means you're looking at something that's going to go further than just the structure of the body. So as they talked about in the opening drumming circle, you have mind, body, and spirit. You have 3 components which are equally valid for healing the body. And a lot of times we focus on structural and what's going on in the physical body, and we don't look at emotional, and we don't look at spiritual very often. And so when you dig into those alternatives, sometimes that creates the impetus for healing the problem, and then all of a sudden the structural symptoms disappear. So that's how complementary and alternative medicine work in compilation with what we have in our medical model. So if we go to self-care in your health, this is all about what you can do to keep yourself healthy. And a lot of times we wait until our appointment and we are able to voice our grievances about what's going on, and we wait for somebody else to be able to have a look at us who has the specialty. And a lot of times it talks about passing that power over to the other person, but you really want to keep that power within yourself, and you have the power within yourself to be able to identify and fix the things that are going on. So how do you keep yourself healthy? If we're talking about body, mind, and spirit, live a spiritual life that involves unconditional love and acceptance, and strive to fulfill your life's purpose. So there's a lot of people that don't look at this avenue, and they aren't really looking at their life's purpose. They just go from day to day, and they just try to get through the day with what they're doing. And sometimes it means digging a bit deeper into why are you here and what do you want to do with your life, and maybe what you're doing, is it really serving you, and it's causing the problems. You can experience all the joy, love, and gratitude that being a human being can provide, and learning how to let go of emotions and experiences that don't support the vision. And then lastly, physically take care of the body. So I said that as lastly because the first 2 are really, really important for changing about how the physical body is going to function. So the role of the medical model I talked about, so identify your source of pain, provide relief from the symptoms, and assess the physical body. And sometimes they do work with mental body, but that's usually in the cases of psychological things, depression, stress, as a blanket term. But sometimes we need to dig a little bit deeper into the emotional aspects. And it can be something as simple as, it could be anxiety over the way your life has shifted. It could be the way that you were in a car accident and you have a pocket of emotions that's blocked into your body from the position that you were in the car accident, and it holds you encased in that position, and that's what holds on to your injuries. So it's a little bit different when we're looking at it from an alternative perspective. And the last part is, for the medical model, they're looking at prevention of disease and All of them are looking at prevention of disease for your self-care. So the role in your health, what do you play? You play a little bit of everything. So you know if you're fulfilling your spiritual journey. You know who understands the impacts of the events, the incidences, or the relationships in your life. You know if you're taking care of your body or not. You know if there's a full picture happening with all that you're doing, and if you've got full support from other people. You know if you're taking action or not. You know if you're responsible for yourself or not. And when it's time for you to take responsibility, and you take it, that's when the healing starts. So if you're passing your responsibility off to other people to be your healer, then it's always going to be in the hands of somebody else, and they're not really there for your interests, they're there for their interests. So you have to make sure you come back to you and go, what can I do for myself? And that's where we begin. CAM is all about the pyramid of health, so body, mind, and spirit. In the Touch for Health modality, which I work under, this pyramid is even more in depth, has a lot more branches to it, and we dive into it a lot deeper. But on the basic, we've got those three. So I've listed here some of the CAM therapies that you might be familiar with and that I thought might be topics that came up at this health fair. So this is a short list of all the CAM therapies. Healing touch, homeopathy, aromatherapy, sound essences, Bach remedies, Ayurveda, allergy testing, body talk, craniosacral therapy, meditation, lymphatic drainage, Pilates, yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, Kinesiology, specialized and applied kinesiology, ion cell cleansing, nutrition, pharmacy, naturopathy, physiotherapy, osteopathy, chiropractic, acupuncture, Chinese medicine, massage therapy, sound therapy, dance therapy, acupressure, Reiki, therapeutic touch, Touch for Health, medical intuitive, Touch for Health got listed twice, EFT, emotional freedom technique. Those are just some of the ones that float around in our area and that are on this side of the island that I'm aware of. It's a big list, so you're probably not sure what all of those titles all say, and how would you know where you would want to go if you were looking for something. So where are we going to start? I added in here a little bit about what is for the body, what is for energy, what is for the mind. Healing touch, homeopathy, aromatherapy, sound essences, Bach remedies, and some of the Ayurveda work. All of those have to do with energy and vibration. That has to do with how our body is resonating and the sound waves that the body resonates with. And you can use in homeopathy, they use vibrational remedies that have the essence of, could be a flower, could be an herb, and they take that vibration and they put it within a little pill form. And usually it's a little sugar pill, and when you put the vibration into the body, it changes how the body resonates. That happens with sound essences, which I have out at my table today, and some of you know from the sound essence baths that I've done in my classes. Jenny carries those at the health food store, and the Bach remedies are all about the flowers and the vibrations that different flowers have. Those have been around for, I think it's almost 80 years, so it's been quite a following that the Bach remedies have, and they're used very widely all over the world. If we come down into body talk, craniosacral, lymphatic drainage, some of the massage techniques, all of those are related to how you can change the body. And if you look at naturopathy and osteopathy, those two, you've got body and mind are included together, and they're looking at the whole package of what the body is doing. So that's where you may want to go and see what does a picture look like for everything that I'm doing. Chinese medicine, that is based on thousands of years of background, and they're following a whole system that's based on the energy system. And when you go to visit someone for Chinese medicine, they may assess you with pulse points. They might look in your ears, your tongue, your feet, your fingernails, your eyes. They can read all the symptomologies of what's going on in your body through all of these pieces. And so they have quite a package they're looking at without even getting into any of the testing that you might see in the medical model. From there, we've got Reiki here today. Therapeutic touch, we have a huge practice group that works out of Port Hawkesbury and have great influence all the way up Route 19. Part that I work under is Touch for Health, and this one is about how the muscles in the body are functioning, and if they're not functioning, how can we shift pieces within the body to make them work. So I'll show you a little bit of that today. I'm going to share a little bit about EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, which is tapping. And you may have heard about that before. Tapping Solution has been doing a really big promo over the last couple of months to get everybody aware of that. And just trying to think if there's anything else. I went past here, meditation, prayer, Pilates, yoga, Tai Chi, and Qigong. All of those being movement modalities, and those allow us the opportunity to use movement to heal the body. Certification for all of these different modalities are all different, but they're all very inclusive for the kind of therapy that happens. And like a naturopath goes through, it's almost 10, 12 years for them to come through. Chinese medicine, my Chinese medicine doctor, she figures it's going to be 26 years when she's finished her first part. So it's quite an extensive bit. Acupuncture, there are several different schools for acupuncture. Some are smaller, and so then their acupuncture work that they do is more on stress relief and maybe relieving pains like headaches and things like that. And then the kind of acupuncture you might get from Chinese medicine may be more in depth, because they'll have a bigger understanding of how the different positions of the needles will work in the body. Some people have heard the term kinesiology, and if you take kinesiology at university, you learn about the muscles in the body, you learn about the tendons, ligaments, fascia, and you learn how to wrap injuries, you learn how to do first aid kind of like things, and you understand how, if somebody's moving, how their body's moving and functioning. If you take applied or specialized kinesiology, it comes under two different titles. They use similar approach, but they use muscle testing to go with it. And this allows for the opportunity to find out if a muscle is actually functioning. So at kinesiology programming, they assume that the muscle is functioning, but in applied kinesiology, we don't assume it's functioning. We actually find out if it is functioning, and then we would figure out how we could fix it from there with our patterns. So for me to be able to show this, could I borrow one person?
That if I can.
Yes. Can I borrow one person just to show how this works?
You can borrow me.
I can borrow you.
Bring me back.
Perfect, will you? I won't take you very far.
How long are you going to stay
Awesome. Okay, so if you just want to turn and face these wonderful people, okay, what I want to know is if your quad muscle is functioning, so that when you're walking, you're actually walking with full capabilities, okay? So the muscle test for that is to put the leg up this way, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to push that leg down, okay? So if you hold onto my shoulder, so you don't fall over, okay? And I'm just going to push down, you hold it there, okay? Holding. Okay, so there's a little bit of give on it, okay? Try the other one, okay? And pull your ankle up just a little bit. There you go, got it? Hold there. And that one's going to go down as well. Okay, so hold on, because I'm going to send you back to your chair broken. So, if you were looking at assessing the body, the camera. If you're looking at assessing the body, you go in for physiotherapy as an example, and they'll give you some exercises to maybe work the quads, which would be maybe put weights on the ankles and have you do some lifts, okay, as an example. However, if the quads are not functioning properly, your body will have to recruit other muscles to make that action happen. And so what we want to do is just make sure the quad's working the right way to begin with. So I'm going to get you to do is rub underneath your ribs. Okay? This is the neurolymphatic point for the quads. So we're going to rub under there. Okay, so you hold onto my shoulder again. Put your leg up. Okay, and hold there. And I cannot push your leg down now. Give me the other one. And I can't push that one down either. Does it feel different?
No.
It feels the same. Can you see the difference? Interesting, isn't it? And you could see if you put your leg up again, how hard I'm pushing to try to get it to go down. And before, it was bouncing as soon as I put that effort on, okay? So now, if I wanted to change that, I could shut it down. So if you take your hands and go like this, and just go in this way on your thigh, and do it on the other side, okay? Beautiful. Okay, hold on to my shoulder. Okay, bring your leg back up. Okay, and the leg's gone. And the other side. Feel the difference on it? Okay, so let's do this again. I'm gonna rub underneath those ribs. Okay, so hold on. And hold there. And I cannot push that leg back down. Okay. Cool, huh?
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so if I was going to assess somebody in their capabilities to be able to do activities, I could find out if the muscles were functioning before we started and if there was a problem in programming. So, as I was talking about before, if you've been in an accident, you have many different movements of muscles that created your action into the accident, and you can lock muscles up in that space. They don't function right. You might have 4 or 5 different muscles that don't work well together, and you may have one muscle that's a real bully, and it may shut all the muscles down, and that creates a movement pattern that's not helpful. So with muscle testing, I can go in and find out what is the pattern, is it working, and how can we fix it, and then I can fix it. Okay, so the difference in what I would be working with and what someone else would be working with is I would dive into what is happening within those muscles, how can we break that pattern up, and then what kinds of, from my perspective, what kinds of movements can I introduce that will help solidify and bring that pattern together. And my background is all within dance and Tai Chi, so I try to do it within movement modality to see how I can fix things. So if we go to some of the physical modalities, so we've got the kinesiology, we've got chiropractic, massage therapy, physiotherapy, and occupational therapy. Okay, those are the ones that are typically thought of. Those are the ones covered under insurance. So that's where most people will go first. Kinesiology we've talked about. Chiropractic. They'll be looking at, their background is Chinese medicine. They are looking at the structure of the body, how the muscles are all working. Sometimes they will dive in a little deeper. Sometimes they'll use muscle testing. It depends where their training came from. But their whole focus is really about getting the spine so it's functioning right, and so it's sending signals out to the muscles correctly. So they'll be doing it that way, and it's usually by manipulation. So if you went in because you had ribs out, putting the ribs back in, getting everything lined back up, then your job is to go home and keep it there. But sometimes you go and you do activities and it pops it back out again. That means there's a pattern that's stuck in there, and that pattern hasn't been changed yet. Okay, so that's where chiropractic, you would go back in, they would go back, work on it again, then your job is to try to maintain that. For massage therapy, most people go in, if they're lucky enough to have their coverage, then it's really good to go in and de-stress. So get those muscles relaxed, let everything go. And in massage therapy, we have some really incredible therapists here that can get in there and they really understand the muscle and the tissue, so they can do deep tissue massage, and they can really work on some areas that are causing people problems. With this portion as well, when you go in and have the massage done, that's the time that you're allowed to relax, let go, and that's a time for a lot of us when we go, oh, okay, I'm going to give over to that. And the focus I want to bring us to is we need that every day. So being able to find other things that you can do that will produce the same kind of result you can get when you go for massage. Physiotherapy we talked about a little bit. So they're about trying to get muscle strength up and flexibility and bringing everything on board so that somebody can work the way they want to work, or go back to activities they haven't been able to do. And occupational therapy, that has a similar modality in that then they're also trying to look at what it is you might be doing in the sports that you're doing, or if you have trouble at your desk or your job, if you have trouble lifting things, how can they make things at work easier for you so that everything will function right? Or how in your house maybe you need to have some devices that will help you to be able to navigate your house a little bit better, get up and down the stairs, those kinds of things. So they're looking at functionality. What complements all of that is, from the other side, osteopathy. So looking at full structure functioning, and the osteopathy, they may use muscle testing, so they may be looking for similar things like I would be looking for under Touch for Health. Touch for Health is the modality I work under. We work with 42 muscles, and we can go through and assess the 42, which is pretty much the whole body. I also have training in Circuits Alive, which is 88 muscles, and I can do more than that if I need to dig any further. And both of those allow me the opportunity to be able to find out what is the pattern that's holding you back from where you want to go, what is keeping you where you are. Feldenkrais method, that is an approach that's been around for a long time, out of 1930, I believe. And a lot of the dancers in the modern dance world use the Feldenkrais method. It takes you back to understanding movement at its finest, where everything works together as a package. So we start out that way as babies, and then as we grow, we go to take soccer, we learn how to move the foot for soccer. We go to ballet, we learn how to stand like a ballerina. And what we do is we break down those patterns of whole body movement, and we put them into finite movements. And so Feldenkrais takes you back to learning how to move properly again. Primary reflexes, that is how you developed your ability to move and walk. And by going back to those reflexes, if they didn't set properly by the age of 3, they keep all of your body movements in a pattern. And sometimes those patterns are not helpful. So being able to go back and find out your stability is off, or your Babinski reflex, which is your power through your foot, all those different reflexes will help you if they're repatterned. Chi integration is a program I built this year out of my studies and my wanting to get assessment of the energy field and movement together. So how you can find out what you need and then how you can use movement to do it for yourself. And that was my goal with Chi integration. Tai Chi is whole body movement, and we'll have a demo of that at noon. Yoga, we've got several great yoga instructors in this area, and we have quite a few people that come in doing workshops that have high caliber work as well. And this is another way to open energy through the body and be able to reset some of those programs. Qigong. Qigong is present in Tai Chi. Qigong is all about opening energy. Qi is energy, and Gong is with the breath. So it's about moving the breath and getting the energy to flow through the body. So Qigong and Tai Chi kind of get used interchangeably and have similar patterns to them. And from there, I want to show you how to muscle test. I did that already with the quads. I did that with the shoulders, so you've seen that. What I'd like to show you is how you could use the body pendulum, because then you would be able to ask a question for yourself. I typically use the anterior deltoid, and I'll show you a little bit of that, but I just want to show you how you can make it work. So if you want to stand up and just plant your feet on the floor, let your hands just go by your side. Okay, we're going to do what's called the pendulum. So what I want you to do is say your name out loud. So I'll do first so you can see. So my name is Michelle Greenwell, and my body goes forward when I say my name. So I want you to do is say your name, see where your body moves to. Okay? Okay. Don't lock your knees. Let your knees relax. Don't worry about not getting a response right away. Just let your body just kind of feel where it wants to go, and you'll feel in your feet the weight will shift. And that's just telling you where your answer is. That would be your yes response, where you just went. So now make up a name that is not related to you, is not a close friend, pick some obscure name, and then see where your body decides it wants to go now. People go in a circle, some people go to a corner. I typically go forward and backwards, some people go side to side, so everybody's different, and it can change for you from day to day, so it can flip sometimes. So if you just ask your name and see where your yes response is, that at least gives you a direction that you know that's where I would be going if I needed to ask a question. Okay, so if you wanted to ask any questions of the body, you could do that just with this little test. So if we wanted to know if we had enough water in us, if you tug on your hair and then see where your body goes. Okay, so do the tug, let your hand go back down, and then see where your body wants to go. Mine's going no. Okay, anybody get yes? So yes, you're hydrated. Anybody get no? Okay, when you tug on your hair, you're pulling on the skin receptors, and that's sending a signal to the body. And then what you're asking is there enough fluid in the cells in order to be able to do what you need to do? And the body either says yes or no. So you don't even have to ask a question, you just pull. That's it. If you're not hydrated, then what we could ask is, how many glasses of water would it take to be hydrated? So we would just count and see when the body moves in any direction. So if you got a no, just ask that question. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What we're asking right now is, what does the body need? Rather than just assuming what the general consensus is 8 glasses of water a day, but what does your body need right now? That's what we were asking. So that's how you can find out how you want to use that. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is rubbing the gates, and I can check all of the gates, which is your coordination of how you do opposite hand to foot movement, and it might be moving forward, might be moving sideways, could be going backwards. I can check all of those challenges by muscle testing, and I can rub a little point on the foot and it'll fire everything up and make the pattern work right. So that's what I'll be doing this afternoon. So I'm going to skip through that, but I just want you to know that there's so many options available with what we can do with muscle testing. Michelle? Yeah. Okay, so I want to show you the power of emotions on the physical body. Pectoralis major clavicular, it's responsible, pecs are responsible for this action here. And what I'd like to show you is what happens if we add emotions to that. So could I have somebody else come up to demo for me? Anybody? Allison, you okay? You've done this one. This one we did for the hydrochloric acid the other day. Okay, so on this one, I just need you to put your hand out in front. I'm going to pull down and out this way. So just let it come through so you know what I'm going to do. Okay? And so if you hold there, okay, so that muscle's working. So now what I want you to think about is when you had surgery the last time. And there goes the arm. So as soon as she thinks about surgery, boom, muscle goes down. This muscle is related to the stomach meridian. Stomach meridian is all about emotions. So this arm is not going to function right when you're thinking about surgery. We've got to change that. So, okay, so now if you go back to a happy thought, arm comes back. Okay? We do the same when we think of a food you don't like. Arm goes. And come back to your happy thought. And the arm's back. Okay? So just how you think can completely change the way the body's going to function. If you have any patterns in the body for emotions that have held on, that can take the body up and down energetically, and that can cause you problems with how you move, it can cause problems with how you think, how you can coordinate, brain fog, all those wonderful things we might say, which is a gray hair moment. So, okay. So what can we do to physically support ourselves? So we can do personal choices, think about our posture, our activity, our strength, our flexibility, work within our limits. We can move in support of our body, and we can have a daily routine that we enjoy and do every day. Say that we have these choices, but not all of us will choose these choices. We don't always sit properly. We don't always stand properly. We don't always engage in activity as we should, and then sometimes we berate ourselves because we didn't get out to do our workout or our walk or whatever. Our strength and our flexibility, we want our strength when we need it, but we're not always willing to go to the gym to build the strength to get there. And the same with flexibility. We don't always spend time working on flexibility to make sure we have it. A lot of times we go to do things and we exceed our limit. We go out into the garden, we say we're going to go for 30 minutes, but then you get in there and then, well, if I just do a little bit more, but if I just go over and get this done, but if I just add this, and after 2.5 hours, we've exceeded our limit of energy, and we put ourselves into distress, and we come out really stiff and sore and very tired. Usually it's then onto the couch so you can rest after what you just did. So it's about knowing how you can work through these choices. And that's where some of the activities that we have will allow us to get there and start to make choices for ourselves personally about how we can keep our health where we want it. We can develop regimes that help us. One of the things that we do is we adapt packages that are built for the general population. It's a good idea to go to the gym. It's a good idea to do a walk. You should do this for 10 minutes a day. Make sure that you lift the weights six times over 3 repetitions, whatever the general blanket information is. In the Touch for Health world with muscle testing, I can find out what serves your body the best, how you won't exceed your limits, and then how you can stay in the place where you need to be to actually build the fitness without going into distress. So that's where sometimes you go into general ideas, but you can work with all the different specialties in this area to find other ways that will be able to support you better. Make use of the resources here. We have personal trainers. Those ones are kind of tricky to find. They don't have one at the Y, but I know there's some people around here that can do that kind of work. There are body workers. That can be through massage therapy. You can have postural analysis done. That would be chiropractic or Touch for Health. We've got Touch for Health or Circuit Alive tune-ups. So that's having a session done to see what the patterns are. Feet First System is what I'm doing this afternoon. This one you do all by yourself, and that one can change the whole way your spine functions, the way the body sits, everything. You can use a mirror. You can look at yourself while you're doing activities and see, are you even supporting yourself the way you need to? When you lift the box, are you actually lifting it with your legs, or are you lifting it with your arm and your back and then going, uh-oh, that was too heavy? So being able to look at yourself and see what you're doing. And the other thing is training with a buddy. And not training with a buddy so that you can have a good gap session, but train with a buddy who's going to look at you and say, you're standing sideways, why are you doing that? And then helping you find better postures and work with material that help.